I'm a bloody smear because they forgot to paint my guns on.
By the way, this is the way TacticalDoodle was actually raised, right? Doing gunfights?
Yeah.
With planes and tanks. Actually, it's cannon, so I should slow down my rate of fire. Goom, 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 goom. I think it had a 30mm cannon firing through the prop.
Yeah.
BF109E4, 1944 is the year. It's going up against a P51D with a checkerboard nose.
Which I believe, or at least choose to believe, is unarmed. They did not paint on guns, ergo I have no guns. I'll say it's a post-war air racer. See, look at the grossly inflated kill count on the side.
That
has to be fantasy.
Big, beautiful doll is a P51. And I bet you it's an actual warbird P51 that flew in World War II, and that was probably what it actually killed.
Back when the Air Force was cool.
Yeah, U.S. Army Air Corps. Excellent, excellent planes. These are postage stamp models, 1:100 scale. They fit so much better on the tabletop. Super cool camouflage paint job on this BF109. I love the Germans too because they'd go to all these lengths to put these super cool camo jobs on, and then they'd paint the cowling yellow or red. Yeah. Here they have a bright red insignia. And like I've talked about before, a lot of the aces would paint their planes in super bright colors, checkerboard patterns, because they're basically challenging the enemy to come shoot them down.
Yep.
They're saying, hey, if you think you have what it takes, bring it. Bring it. Cool. They're on the table because we have a World War II themed 1911 tabletop review. We're going to get to it here in just a second. But first, it's story time as we once again visit the greatest generation. The book, as TNPers have been buying, is actually called Storm of Eagles. John Dibbs, Kent Ramsey. Fantastic book. Look at this photo, guys. The caption says USAAF, Army Air Forces, North American P-51C in Italy, 1944. The dude was Captain Andrew Jug Turner, commander of the 100th Fighter Squadron. He signals he's about ready to start the engine of his P-51 called Skipper's Darling 3. He took command of the 100th Fighter Squadron in June 44, flew 69 combat missions, and he was killed in September 47 in a mid-air crash. That's sad, dude. Lots of suffering so that we could be a free country. There's another P-51 right here. This is a B model. Caption reads, originally named Man of War by Lieutenant Colonel Claiborne Kennard. This Mustang was next assigned to so-and-so, who named it the Iowa Butte. Holderman only had 1 kill, but the aircraft still carried Kennard's 10 kill markings. How cool is that?
I bet you guys were making fun of him for that.
So he inherited the plane.
10 kills.
Hey, did you get those? No.
There's always a caveat.
It was Kennard before me. On September 1944, Captain Kevin Rafferty was lost in the Iowa Butte near Marburg, Germany. Once again, a sad story.
That's how a lot of them stories ended back then.
Yeah, but that's reality. That is reality. I mean, a lot of suffering on the ground force, but I'll tell you what, the Air Boys, they paid a lot of blood. They did.
Yeah.
Fighter and bomber guys. Here, this one says North American P-51B, Leiston, England. Captain Bud Anderson is Mustang of the 363rd. Anderson was promoted to major at the age of 22 and scored 16 1/4 kills in a Mustang he named Old Crow. And we have seen the Old Crow on tabletop. Yeah. We have a 1/72nd version of that plane. It is fantastic. That is the guy that scored the kills in the Old Crow. The olive drab one. Yeah. The P-51B. Whew.
What the hell happened, man?
Really good. To what?
Your service. It sucks ass.
You talking about the Air Force?
Yeah, they got rid of nose art. They got rid of nicknames. They got rid of anything that could be somewhat interesting or personable.
I'm not going to push back on that. I think the Air Force is not the way it used to be. It's rife, just like all the services are, with political correctness, first and foremost. It is out of control. It's actually an experiment in political correctness. Yeah. And guys' careers have been lost over such. I could go on and on about how screwed up the United States Air Force is now, and it's bad. So, and someone needs to turn it around. It's going to take from the president on down, and year after year changing the culture.
I think it's gone forever.
P-51D, so cool, as we go into a World War II handgun review of sorts. Do you have $2,000 or such to go buy an actual World War II era 1911?
No, but you can apply to the CMP to see if they will deign to allow you to buy one 1911 per lifetime, per family, per house.
And a very unknown condition, right?
Grab bag.
So you get what you get.
You get what you get, boy.
Yeah.
And it depends. I mean, I think a lot of times guys are excited. They see the pictures of some guy that lucked out with like a Singer Sower and, oh, dude, it's from 1917, untouched.
I think that happened like in the 90s for sure. The 1911s coming through CMP were amazing. And we don't want to spend too much time on this, but all the way to the early 2000s, I think. Then after that was just a grab bag of when they came and went, right?
Yeah. Now, well, they started getting a bunch of them, and so the demand was so high, they've just tried to limit the output. This thing takes out Tiger tanks.
You love it, don't you?
I dig it. That's cool. Boy, I tell you what.
Great gun, huh?
It's smoking.
So let's say you have a craving for a World War II era 1911, an A1, but you don't have the money, or you just can't even find it.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of them around, and if you do, they are in horrible condition.
They were
still commanding high prices.
Ask anyone that was in the service in the 70s and 80s. They
were
have
cheap
horror
back then.
stories about 19. They're like, dude, you go into the armory and it's just a random assemblage of parts and function nightmares.
Right.
And by the time the M9 came around, I mean, keep in mind you're buying out of that pool these days. So
you're saying even though it may come from that period, it could be a hodgepodge of parts due to the military armories.
Oh, almost absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And the military doesn't care about that. They just want a running gun, and so they'll mix and match. They're not trying to preserve part numbers.
Make sure
they don't care.
It's correct. Is that from March of 43?
Yeah.
So a barrel bushing should have a drawing number of S219. No, see, that's S218. Barry, you can't keep screwing this up.
It's some 19-year-old who's an armorer, and he's just trying to not get yelled at and keep the guns running. Okay, so you don't have money for that. You can't find it, whatever. This is an option for you guys. It is currently being imported by American Tactical Imports, who have been doing some really good work as far as bringing some awesome guns in. We've reviewed several of them, actually.
Yeah.
Coming to mind is the Schmeiser 9mm. I think that was ATI.
Cool. Yeah.
That worked really well. We've done their 9mm PCC. That was awesome, too.
Yep.
And now we're looking at their 1911. And the official name is the FTX Firepower Extreme 45. It is an homage gun.
Yeah.
It's not a period correct 1911. I don't think they're trying to do it. It's an homage to the World War II style of A1 TD.
It's a really interesting thing. I've had my eye on this era of the market because you have so many importers that do this. I think it's because the GI platform is really easy to do. Especially if you just blew it, park it. It's pretty bare bones, it's affordable, and people are interested in it. They see stuff on Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan.
That's right.
And they think, dude,
and
I
the
want
video
one of those.
games.
Oh,
video
totally.
games.
And it really is like the predecessor of so many different platforms today. This is what all these custom 1911s were originally built on.
Very interestingly, this is made in the Philippines, and the Philippines after World War II acquired thousands upon thousands of 1911s, and they fell in love with them.
Yeah.
And there were companies that came out of that period making, guess what, homage 1911s. This is such a company that makes this one. It's called SAM, Shooting Arms Manufacturing, and I guess you say Quezon City, Philippines.
I don't know.
We're not sure. But it's a Filipino manufactured 1911, and they have a lot of history doing it. This isn't new to them. And so we're getting this gun, and it's actually pretty good.
I was surprised.
Actually pretty good. And as TD always says, this is a gun that a guy could add to his 1911 collection. This is a Smith & Wesson 178011 in the background, reviewed previously, a Pro Series. But they want something World War II-ish.
Yeah.
But you don't want to go out and spend $2,000.
Yeah, it's kind of a hard pull to say you want to get like a Springfield GI for $900.
Right.
Or a CZ for around the same. Coming up on $1,000, that'll buy you a lot of gun and a lot of better ones.
And as you're saying now, there are major manufacturers that are making period correct or close to it,
Yeah.
homage A1 style 1911s, but you're going to be spending a lot more. And I just don't know if guys want to spend that. Most of my viewers, I don't think, have that money.
Yeah, I don't know if correctness really comes into play too much. When I first saw this, I kind of had that impulse of why on earth would they put the huge roll marks on it? Don't you want it to look like the original? And I think there's kind of some pushback in a lot of places. Guys don't want to feel like they're shooting a counterfeit 1911.
Right.
They don't want one with the tiny type on it, you know, something that looks so close that they could peddle it as an original.
I wish they did.
I wish they would.
Saying. I wish they would roll mark it exactly like a World War II. And anyone who knows anything about a 1911 can tell that this is a modern production.
It has one competitor that seems to, but we haven't seen one in person, so I don't know about the quality. It's made by TSIS.
Okay.
And it's got really tiny type, and it looks a little more correct than this. But given how this thing shoots, I don't know if I would be so quick to jump into something I don't know. Because I know the Philippines 1911s are pretty freaking good.
They are. They have a really good reputation, even though they're very low priced. Did we mention it? About $400.
Dude.
A round of applause and a thank you to Gunny's, the Great American Gun Store, for loaning us this 1911. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thanks so much. If it wasn't for Gunny's, we wouldn't have this. So go to Gunny's, pull the trigger. That's so funny. Another philosophy of use is what you're seeing right here on the table, paired up with this modern production M1 Carbine. It is an auto ordnance version. Previously reviewed, we really like it a lot. How cool does that look together?
Yeah.
Right? And they're kind of the same thing, right? This is not trying to be a period correct M1 Carbine. We talked about that on the table. This isn't trying to be a period correct A1, but it's pretty close.
Yeah.
And to the casual observer, it looks pretty legit.
Yeah.
As far as a go-to-war pistol, I think you could do a lot better. This thing is an anchor at 42 ounces.
How it always was.
Granted, the 1911s, actually, I think the World War II one was actually a little bit lighter, like 39 ounces.
Was it?
An A1, I think so.
I thought that was just the mags.
But that's still in the same ballpark. 39, 40 ounces. That's a steel frame 1911. That's what this one weighs. This is like 39 ounces. Yeah, 39 ounces on the 178011. I don't consider the 1911 as a go-to-war option. I haven't forever and ever. It's a range toy for me. It's fun to shoot. It's collectible. I enjoy it. Sure, I can use it as home defense, but I'm not going to go packing around a 42-ounce gun. And that's empty weight, by the way.
Yeah.
How about you?
No, not much of a war gun.
Not so much.
I love 1911s, but, you know, maxing out at 10 rounds per mag, there are better options, especially with the loads.
That's a Kimber 10-round mag. We'll talk about that when we discuss how it's shot.
It's Wilson.
How cool would this look, by the way, if you put this in a red velvet oak case with a glass front on it, and you had a picture of like a landing craft in World War II,
cool.
Door opening with a dude coming down with his M1 carbine, another guy with a 1911 strapped to his hip, in a black and white photo, and these two guns are in that presentation.
And really, if I were to do that,
awesome.
I would make sure I would get these and not some weird gold inlaid. Am I the only one that dislikes those?
No, the market does not like those.
I do not understand them.
Those heritage guns that they make.
Yeah, they're constantly releasing them.
You know why I know they don't like them? Because I see them for resale and they don't sell.
Yeah.
No one's buying them. In that presentation case, I'm just kind of joking around here. It'd be better to have a no kidding roll marked A1 that would look better. But again, to the average observer, like if your uncle comes over and he saw that, he would go, "Oh my gosh, that is so cool." He's not going to come and go, "Hey, that's not correct."
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. There are different variations of this gun by Sam. Again, that's Shooting Arms Manufacturing. Brought in, again, right now by ATI. Who knows what the future holds. You have this GI version. It's called the Military. It's the 5-inch barreled version, 8-round magazine. Then you have a commander-sized one, kind of. It's a 4 1/4-inch barrel, 7-round mag with that one. You have a Titan, 3-inch barrel, so it's smaller, 7 rounds. And then you have a Fat Boy, double stack, 45 ACP, 3.2-inch barrel with a 12 or 10-round mag, depending on where you live.
It's pretty cool.
Those are just some of the variations made by Sam currently. We got this one because we liked it.
Yeah, I would definitely get this one. I like the idea too of getting it as an intro beater.
Totally.
You get it, and then if you want to, you try out mods, or you learn to gunsmith, or you bought old VHS tapes at a garage sale teaching you how to gunsmith. This bitch is yours.
It's a beater, man. I mean, it's so inexpensive, and you're going to see it's so well made. I just think it will take anything you have to throw at it, as long as you don't let it rust.
I think it would be cool, because think about it, like if you did the same stuff the Marines used to do, they used to accurize them and do all their tricks. They made them off of GIs.
Right.
Very cool.
So that's a couple of variations. Philosophy of use is standard. Now, I do have an old video out called Philosophy of Use on the 1911. That says all you need to know, and I have just basically abbreviated a lot of those thoughts in this video. Go check that out. I probably will not put an annotation to it. You can type.
Yeah.
So now we get into the features of the ATI FX45 World War II style of 1911.
The greatest feature being its lack of features.
A lot of truth to that, actually.
It is. I mean, if you try and define it in the market, it's defined by the original 1911 plus some A1 factors.
Basic.
No ambi this, ambi that.
Right.
John Browning didn't see fit to give you an ambi safety, so why would you need one?
Very basic. Maybe we should compare it against a modern 1911 just for kicks. This is a Smith & Wesson older school 1911. It's not the E series. Again, 178011, previously reviewed. Look that review up. Maybe we do a little bit of comparison and contrast against that one, just for fun. On to features. First up, it looks like a World War II 1911.
It does.
As we've established, right?
Which is pretty impressive for a blued gun. It really looks parky.
I wished it was Parkerized, and on some of their guns on their website, they say they're Parkerized, but this one's just blued.
Yeah.
I would love a Parkerized 1911. I just love Parkerization.
It's a little pricey. Because it seems like the higher end of the market, once you get to like $700, $900 GI reps, then they come parked. Right.
So we like the finish. We didn't rust test it at all. I'm sure it would rust like crazy. You're going to have to keep it oiled up. Whatever. It's a $400 1911. We can't really tell on the control set how closely it mimics a World War II 1911 without having it here on tabletop. What we will say against a modern 1911, like TD has said and established already, it's basic.
Yep.
It's not as ergonomic. I mean, here's the paddle safety on a modern 1911. This one's basic World War II-ish.
Old school.
Yeah. How about the positivity of the safety, TacticalDoodle?
I like it.
I think it's fantastic. It's better than this gun. It's better than that gun, dude. This one is mushy, and I criticized it, and I haven't fixed it yet.
It happens to a lot of 1911s.
It does.
And it's no cure being high-end, low-end. We have Wilsons and stuff, and you're like, oh, this is kind of spongy.
We've reviewed some high-end stuff. This safety is perfect. Look at this, how it snicks on and off. Love it, love it. I find it ergonomic enough. I don't have a problem with it. There's no ambidextrous thing going on here, like TD has said. And this is a World War II style of hammer, as far as we know. They had that really skinny one on some of the earlier 1911s, and the GIs complained about it, and so they came out with this variation. So it has a wider spur on it. Again, we didn't compare it to see, you know, blow by blow how close it goes. And you know what? We don't care.
You have to understand.
We don't care.
With
There's
old
a $400 1911.
surplus stuff, it is a rabbit hole you'll never return from. If you were to look this up, I guarantee you'll find a collector website where they show the difference month by month.
Right.
Each manufacturer, Colt has its own, Singer probably has its own. They go, yeah, this is a Type 3 Draw 1.
Oh, gosh. I'm going to sleep already just listening to you say that. That's how boring that is.
But there are guys that do that.
Even then, after I retired, I wouldn't get into that minutia. There's your grip safety. It's not an extended beaver tail like you see in a modern 1911 right here. So if that makes you sad, keep shopping. By the way, there's some great modernish 1911s at the same price point. We're just using this one.
Oh, yeah.
The mainspring housing is a little bit different. I think the original 1911 was checkered. This one's striated.
I could see that.
I think I may have mentioned that. I forget.
I do like this, actually. I like
have
the
no problems with it at all.
It filled the hand a little bit better.
Yep. Mahogany grips. The checkering is pressed, not cut, as far as I can ascertain.
Which I was surprised, because I really like the mahogany. And when you see some of the people talking about it, yeah, it doesn't have the original plastic grips. Like,
oh my gosh. Well, dude,
why would you
some people are
about getting wood?
I ranted on this on my bunker review on the Wyndham Armory A1. And I ranted about how guys are never satisfied. No matter what steel a knife comes out in, no matter what features a gun has, they're always bitching. Just be glad we have what we have.
Look at any pistol caliber carbine that comes out ever. The first 20 things are always
caliber.
Going, every caliber under the sun.
Oh, if it wasn't this caliber, I would totally buy it.
Yeah, I wish it had the Tomcat 443. What is that? Oh, it's a secret.
Sorry for the rant, guys, but here it comes. Well, the big thing on PCCs, guys say, well, if it was chambered in 10 millimeter, I'd totally buy it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you would never shoot it. You can't afford to shoot your 9. You think you're going to go put 500 rounds through a 10 millimeter PCC? You're dreaming. Okay, rant complete. I do feel better. There's a lanyard attachment here. Very cool. Not present on a modern 1911. And most of the parts here are going to be MIM'd. No big surprise. But guess what? They're also MIM'd in this Smith & Wesson. Yep. This is a MIM'd checkered non-arched, by the way, flat mainspring housing. That's a MIM part, and we've had zero problems with it. MIM parts are fine. Actually, and if you're talking about that, the frame is cast for this Filipino 1911, but get this, the slide is forged.
Sweet.
Can you believe that's pretty cool?
That's impressive.
So a forged slide with a SAM 1911. I am impressed, dude.
It's cool.
Here's your magazine. It's made by ACT of Italy, isn't that right? This is ACT mag that comes with.
That
there you go.
magazine's cheap ass.
We had no problems with it at all. It's highly recommended. Here comes a Smith & Wesson magazine.
Oh no, a Smith & Wesson magazine is also ACT.
Is it? That's
yep,
an
ACT mag, Italy.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so it's a good magazine. We like it. It's the same as this one. These are identical magazines is our point. And we've been using them for years, and they are fantastic. 8-rounders. Yeah, we love it. We did run those 10-round Wilson Combat mags in it. I think I called that a Kimber earlier.
Yeah.
Those are good too, but we ran this one in it, and guess what? It worked 100% of the time.
The Wilson mags have been pretty much perfect in everything.
There are some 1911s that you didn't help me test that they didn't like it for whatever reason.
I thought that was the Kimber though.
Maybe it was a Kimber.
The Kimber
I don't remember.
10 is the one that's
it could be the
finicky.
Kimber. It could be. That's a good point. So there's no striations or checkering going on here at all on the front strap, and that is, I think, more period correct. There's no funneling going on in the magazine well.
Your grandpa didn't need it. Why do you?
That's right. Grandpa did just fine without it, and he used canvas bags to carry his magazines.
He waded across the beach in a full clown suit made of canvas.
Yeah, and he smoked every day and ate bacon every day for breakfast, and he lived to be 100. Oh, by the way, he was shot at a lot in World War II, and he was a man's man. Standard magazine release. The trigger is pretty excellent.
I really like that.
I love the trigger. Actually, about 5 pounds, guys. 5 pounds. There you go. I wasn't pressing the grip safety.
Yeah, the grip safety is low profile, just like the Cavalry board wanted it in 1910 or whenever.
We like the trigger guard, no Picatinny rail, and it has, of course, the half-length steel guide rod.
Yeah.
Which I don't have a problem with. That is period. I like it.
Designed.
Internal extractor in this one.
Non-flared port, too.
Non-flared and scalloped port. So let's see if this one has. I'm pretty sure it does. Here, hold this, please.
You gotta flare the port.
Well, again, if you're looking for that, go get it. This is kind of an homage to a World War II, this one. You know, 1911. I love this one, though. Don't get me wrong. It's the Smith & Wesson products are fantastic. And that's features, dude. Down and dirty. Overall presentation, I think, is very World War II-ish. Here, grab this one and lower this thing. Take it closer.
Here's all the important parts.
There you go. Hold.
Scratches the itch.
How did it shoot, TacticalDoodle?
Just fine.
It went out on multiple outings, actually. So we shot it with Sean the TNPer. Thank you, Sean, for helping us. We shot it with Wyatt and crew. They loved it. I shot it alone, and then TacticalDoodle and I went out and we shot it together. And flying colors, bro. The only thing I can say is it initially had kind of a kerchunk dynamic when it was cycling, kind of a delayed cycle, but it didn't jam. And I shot a bunch of different rounds through it, like garbage 1911 rounds, and this thing worked great. Here you go. It worked awesome. So 100% reliability for $400 1911, and that's better than I can say for, guess what, original 1911s.
Yeah.
In the 70s, when I shot 1911s, and I've said this on tabletop, I remember a lot of jams. Everyone acts like this is the go-to-war, always reliable platform. It wasn't in the 70s and 80s when I shot it. Everybody who had a 1911, it was jamming.
There's a reason they were issuing Model 10 hand ejectors.
There was. I don't think it was that reliable, honestly. With FMJs, more so, if you tuned it, I think it was. So, like, if you, Gunsmith looked at it and fitted it, I think it was good to go. Speaking of which, check the slide to frame fit on this $400 1911. There's no movement at all, dude.
Tighter than the original.
Dude. So 100% reliability, and here's the accuracy. I have one target to show you of the FX45. Look at this, dudes. 3 rounds. This is standing 10 yards. 10 yards. And my shoulder was not great. I may have done even better had it been 100%. So look at this. 10 yards. Look at this group. 10 yards. So this is FMJ ammo. I cycled 4 mags of jacketed hollow point through it, and it was also 100%. Nice. I forget what TRC stands for. Maybe I'll remember. I'll put an annotation if I do. If I don't, I won't.
No idea.
Good trigger, 100% reliable. Very, very accurate from what we can see. It really is astonishing. Right? That's the word for this gun. That for $400 you're getting this kind of quality.
Dude, you can, and if you start shopping around, even like used, could you imagine picking this up used? You can find it new, and so I think I've seen them at like $370.
Really?
Are you kidding me?
Really?
Dude.
It's a no-brainer buy. So if we get to would we buy it, the answer is absolutely yes, we would buy it if you're good with its basicness. So in summary, 100% reliable, which is truly amazing for this price point of 1911. All kinds of loads. You saw the accuracy, totally accurate, fun to shoot. It should be. It's 42 ounces, which is heavy, but that makes recoil minimal. So would you buy it, TacticalDoodle?
Not yet.
Really? Why?
I have my eye on that Tisas Turkish-made one.
Why? What is better about that 1911 versus this one?
Solely down to the markings. It's a little bit smaller. It doesn't have the billboard. At this price point, it's pretty competitive. I'm sure this shoots better because it performs so well, but if the other one has the same amount of... it's tempting.
I'm going to say a definite buy on this. That's my opinion because it is so low priced, about $400, maybe less, like TD said, if you get a used one. And dude, it's a known quantity. It's coming from a manufacturer that has a ton of experience making 1911s.
Yeah.
They've been doing it a long time. It has a great reputation. Everyone who owns this says it's reliable.
Yep.
I looked around the internet. I didn't see a bad report on it, on the SAM 1911. They're like, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's basic. It's a Series 70, no firing pin safety, 1911. Blued. Is it absolutely period correct? No. But who cares? This is an absolute period correct M1 Carbine, but I don't care. It's close enough where it has to look. TacticalDoodle cares a little bit more than I do. And like he's saying, he might go for that more accurate 1911.
That's
True?
the thing. Yeah, it similar price points. They're about the same price-wise. And I wonder in the long run, like, yeah, if I wanted to display this on my little pistol display,
okay,
I can see that roll mark taunting me every time I look at it. Like, hey, look.
You're convincing me with that. That's a solid piece of logic right there. I'll give you that. That if you're going to use it as a display piece and you still want to save money, maybe that Turkish one is good. Do you know the construction or the features of that one or the quality?
Yeah,
I almost
guarantee you it's not going to be as good.
Well, we don't know. And maybe we'll try to get that for review. And if we do, we'll tell you how it did. If it did great, maybe we'll say, hey, you know, it compares very favorably against the FTX 45. And we'll tell you if and when we get that. I'm saying it's a no-brainer buy for $400.
Oh, is a shooter all day long?
Oh my gosh.
All day long.
And you don't have to use it for display. You can just use it for fun or just use it as a kind of commemorative World War II piece that did not break the bank.
I really want to get one and just mod it a little bit like the old Marine
there you go.
Recon ones. Because that's what they did. They took GI ones off the rack and then played around with it and got it looking right. So you could
strip this and then you could Parkerize it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You might even go to other extremes to make it more identical. And actually, I read about a guy who did that. He modified his FTX 45 out, and he loves it. So it's so inexpensive. It's a good project gun. So remember the basic parts. The frame is cast. There are MIM parts in it. Who cares? And a forged slide. A high-quality 4140 steel barrel. I forgot to mention that. 5-inch version in this military one. It's a really great gun. Go check out their GI one. It's the shorter one, but we like the longer slide one.
Yeah.
Men Fancy Project, thanks for being part of TNP Patreon or whatever other donation service we may use in the future. We spent about $300 in ammunition testing this.
Yeah.
About that. Yeah, give or take. I didn't really check it, but it's a good ballpark. Make sure you subscribe. That's job one, and then hit the notification bell. Signing off and taking off, this is TNP. See ya!
Ist ein racing plane. He is completely unarmed.
On it. Woo! Aim to the right. Right plate. Atta boy.
Very nice.
I bet you like it more than you thought you would.
I do. Yeah, especially for a value weapon. I've never really shot 1911s much, and so this is kind of the first shots for me. And yeah, it takes a little bit of getting used to. It's different than all those polymer pistols, but for a value 1911, it works great.
Yeah, dude, the formula on this, it's not a forged gun, but you know what? Who cares? Who cares? The price is right. It works. It's super accurate.
Yeah.
It ain't jamming out here with FMJs.
No, it's been 100%
it's a good
reliable.
gun. And it'd be a nice little addition to like an M1 Garand or an M1 Carbine collection. You want to have that World War II GI look, but you don't want to go out and spend the $1,000 on a 1911.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely, it's a good one to add to the collection.
Filipino made ATI 1911.
All hits.
It's a real positive safety. I like it.
On it.
I'd buy it.